back to Short Film Saturdays. It is Saturday, so short films. It is a ritual at this point. I am so excited to be the one to guide you on this journey. My name is Nase DeSanders, and I'm the Community Outreach Manager at Soley Space. Let me tell you a little bit about us. We're a media company based in Brooklyn, New York, and our mission is to achieve a more equitable and representative global film and television landscape. Our focus is on the global diasporas of Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and the Middle East, with the goals of forming closer transcultural community bonds and providing opportunities and resources for our creators to produce premium world-class content. We aim to uplift underrepresented voices from these regions that are not often seen, authentically represented in the global mainstream media. There's no better way to do that than with short films. Shorts are often the purest form of artistic expression and often, though not always, executed within the boundaries of smaller production budgets. Since launching Short Film Saturdays in late 2021, we have featured 85 films from 97 filmmakers in 44 countries to date, and we are just adding to those numbers today. Super exciting. But before we do that, Soleil Space has just launched the next very exciting phase of our content ecosystem, and that is the world's first truly global community streaming platform, and it's bringing unprecedented technology and innovation to the streaming space. And it's called, you guessed it, Soleil Space. Soleil Space is the first for global creators of color and is the only cross-cultural destination exclusively dedicated to the content of the global South diasporas. The platform allows filmmakers to independently monetize their content, build their own micro-communities, and interact directly with their intended audiences. It elevates creators alongside their content. That's something new. And it allows our audience to have a cinematic tour around the globe. So as a special gift to our Short Film Saturday viewers, we are offering the first 2 months on the platform free. Just use code SFS60APR22 on soleilspace.com to use your free trial of the platform. The code is only valid for the next 2 weeks, so hurry up and sign up. The code is in the chat, so you can copy and paste it from there. Now, obviously, you can tell I am not alone today. I have 2 amazing filmmakers with me who I'm super excited to introduce you to. First, we have Edwin Frank Ortiz, and he's of Puerto Rican and Mexican descent, hailing from Barrio Logan of the Southeast San Diego. He graduated from USC School of Cinematic Arts with an emphasis in directing. Obviously, you guys are going to see it soon. Frank O began his artistic journey as a hip-hop dancer. Edwin discovered his Fuego back at Point Loma High School when a film colleague asked if he could dance and act in his film. Being new to acting, he loved it and decided to pursue it. This eventually introduced him to film production, and the rest is history. With a creative portfolio that consists of acting for theater and film, producing and directing music videos, commercials, and documentaries, he looks forward to finally creating a meaningful narrative film that will highlight his talents and introduce himself to the world of narrative content. Awesome. And then we also have the lovely Mauricio Sáenz-Cánovas. He's a visual artist and filmmaker with an experimental praxis that blends fictional elements into predominantly ethnographic and social context. Selected festivals include International Film Festival Rotterdam, AFI Fest, Karlovy International Film Festival, and Arbor Film Festival, and the Rencontres Internationales Paris, Berlin, among others. He received an honorable mention in the experimental shorts category in Slamdance in 2020, a nomination for the Dialogue Award in the European Media Art Festival in 2017, and was nominated for the Loop Discover Award in Barcelona that same year. So let's have a very warm welcome to Edwin and Mauricio. Edwin, I'll have you go first. Tell us a little bit about the film we're about to watch today.
It's a story created for people who haven't discovered their Fuego yet. It's to inspire them to keep an eye out for their Fuego as well.
Very interesting. And Mauricio, how about yours? What are we about to see from you today?
Yeah, it was a short that I shot like 2 years ago. It is based on like an ethnographic context from Mexico. I kind of made it contemporary, and I give it a twist based on my visual arts background. So I hope you like it, guys.
Amazing. So both Edwin and Mauricio's films that we're about to watch today are available on the Soleil Space community streaming platform. So when you want to see them again, you know exactly where to go. So with that, we are about to watch the 2 films, and when they're over, don't go anywhere, because we're going to have a great Q&A with both these amazing filmmakers. And at the very end of that, you can submit your audience questions, so hold on to those, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's enjoy those films. Hey everybody, this is Short Film Saturday. So for those of you who have been joining us from the beginning, you know that we've been having a little bit of technical difficulties today. I'm super sorry about that. We were able to watch Mauricio's film, Tigre, which was amazing, but for whatever reason, we aren't able to get Edwin's film, Fuego, up and running today. So we're super sorry about that. We are going to go forward with the Q&A. For those of you who were enticed by those super juicy beginning moments of Fuego, you can still watch the film. This is not at all his last moment. Edwin's film and Mauricio's films are both available on the Soley Space community streaming platform. So you can go ahead there and check them out. So please go to soleyspace.com and you can use the code SFS60APR22 for a free 2 months on the platform. So then obviously you can watch a bunch more films in that time as well. The code's only valid for the next 2 weeks, so hurry up and sign up. Preferably do it today, guys, because I want everyone to see Fuego as well. So with Fuego hot on our minds, we will start there. Edwin, to start us off, for those who haven't seen the film, can you just give us a general recap of everything that happens in Fuego?
Okay. So that's a quick question. It's a story about a bartender who hasn't discovered their fuego, their purpose, passion, only to start pursuing their late father's passion for salsa to discover his, or possibly discover his. That's the short version. The feature version I'm writing, we will reveal what his fuego is.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. So what is Fuego literally and to the film?
It's a story I created from the heart. It was meant to, knowing the audience that would watch it, specifically people in my life that aren't pursuing what makes them happy in life. I wanted to create a story that would inspire them to pursue their passions. That's the whole reason why I created it. And then the additional layers was, all right, cool. How do I showcase my talents? If this is going to be my calling card to start getting me work as getting work in the narrative realm of narrative realm of film, what is that calling card that's going to showcase me overall as a producer, director, writer, and actor? But first was the most important thing to me. First was the story, and then everything else was the extra layers I was trying to show. So that was the purpose of the short. But the audience, the story was meant to inspire people to pursue what makes them happy in life. That's what I cared about. That's me overall as a person, that I always try to push in my community as well. So that it was very important for me to show that. Yeah, to show. Yeah.
But then what is Fuego? For someone who has never heard a lick of Spanish in their entire life, what is Fuego?
Fuego's the flavor. Fuego's, I wanted, it could have been a story about passion and fire, but no, I wanted Fuego to represent me as a person and the intentions behind the title alone. Like, okay, why Fuego? Clearly, this person must be Latino. There's a lot of intention, even just in the title, to sum up the story of passion and purpose. I thought Fuego was perfect. It could have been fire, but no, no, that's not. Why fire? No, it has to have Latin flavor. So I was like, Fuego. It shows a lot. I wanted people to know just that title alone, like, huh, okay. Well, Fuego, for the people who don't know what Fuego is, it means fire, but Fuego was intentional to show to show who I am as a person and give some sense of Latin flavor, like that spice.
Very nice. So in the film, I mean, the film is completely about salsa. Can you please explain to us the cultural significance of salsa to Puerto Ricans living in mainland United States?
Okay. So yes, it is a story about pursuing salsa, and it does tie into culture. Um, so the story came first, right? The additional layers. Then that's when I started bringing in culture because I wanted people to identify with this film, even if they weren't, if they weren't familiar with Puerto Rican culture as well as like salsa dancing. I was inspired by Silver Linings Playbook, right? Like it's a film, it's a great story about achieving a goal that many people could identify with. However, you don't need to know what football is or Philadelphia Eagles is to watch that film. So I was kind of like taking a page from that book. Like, okay, like I want a story that people could identify with. That's probably gone through the same feeling stuck at a job and not pursuing what makes them happy in life. But then, it's a story within my culture as a Puerto Rican and using salsa dancing as that element. But when I did the short, I was still learning about myself. Uh, when I did the short, the beautiful thing about the short is it really led me to dig deep in not only learn about salsa, like salsa dancing, especially the significance of it in New York City and Miami, but more importantly, like within culture too, the importance of salsa dancing and culture, the importance of music. They didn't realize also like doing this film and connecting with family in Puerto Rico and visiting Puerto Rico while attending film festivals for this film. I would discover that there was a void missing in my life without culture, the Puerto Rican culture here in San Diego,
Mm.
only to discover how much closer I am to my father being out there in the East Coast or in Puerto Rico. Like, these are things that I'm discovering. I didn't realize how much of my father's presence that represented music and salsa dancing, because that was his passion. Clearly, anybody that knew him for being charismatic, loud Puerto Rican who loved to just make people smile and music and dance. And once that element was missing, because San Diego's not known for Puerto Ricans. It's not known.
Mm.
It's known for the Navy. It's diverse, but it's known for more Mexicans, Filipinos, who
Mm.
I grew up with. Friends of mine that I grew up with. But that element of that the culture within music, and I didn't realize was missing out of my life until I'm doing this film, and now I
Mm.
love it. Now I love it more than life itself. I'm like dancing salsa and bachata, like so.
Amazing. So this is not your first time directing, and this is not your first time acting, but was this your first time directing yourself acting in a film?
You know what? So this was my first time actually directing and acting. I've acted and I've directed, but I've never done the two together yet.
Mm.
And in theater, I'm used to acting, but the things that I'm known for in theater, I haven't showcased or highlighted in film yet whatsoever. So I thought, okay, who knows me better than me? And how do I bring what people enjoy, especially with dancing and music? Because so this play I'm known for, I choreograph, and I'm known for being this dancing, wacky hip hop angel, but yet
Mm.
I haven't brought that to the screen. So I'm wondering, how do I bring that to my audience? How do I, um, and what's music that people are gonna like? My whole audience from age range,
Mm.
from young to old, are gonna enjoy. Like I could have did hip hop, but not everybody loves hip hop. So I
Mhm.
was like, oh, let me pick something else. Like let me pick Latin jazz and salsa. Why not salsa? Like
Mm.
picking a film that my late father would love, and
Aw.
and yeah. So I focused on that aspect. But anyway, to answer your question, um, I didn't know what that was going to look like. I knew how to prep as an actor and as well as a director.
Mm.
I didn't have any mentors that I could reach out to guide me and tell me their
Mm.
experience. So I just kind of have to take a leap of faith and just do it, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
I tell everybody to do: just do it and learn from it. So I took that leap of faith on this film. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna prep as an actor, I'm gonna prep as a director, and making sure I delegate a lot of duties to people I trust, like my ED, my DP. That way, I don't have to worry about camera so much.
Yeah.
and just, the amount of prep I did, I felt very comfortable, and I got to learn. I got to see what I could improve on, and the little small issues we had on set, especially during COVID. During COVID made it much more difficult. We had to shut down on our third day of shooting, pick up momentum again, and after the holidays, it was that was an obstacle in itself, but I got it done, and Fuego happened.
Very nice. So I have a question now that those who haven't seen the film won't get. So this will be like a teaser question. This will be a little something just to plant the seeds in their minds. Is or was there a real Camilla?
You know what? There wasn't.
Juicy.
There wasn't.
Oh.
Short. There wasn't short. The short was totally, man. You know what's funny is I expected to hear that question when I do the feature film, but the short there wasn't. I'll just say that much. The
Hey,
short,
hold on. Now, in the
just
short there wasn't, but in the feature there is.
the feature. There's definitely inspiration for the new, a
From a
lot of
real
inspiration from the new Camila, but that's not short. That's later. But the short, no, like it was just loose. The story was loosely based on my first time being introduced to social dancing in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
and it was I that was instructing, and I thought to myself, all right, what would make me continue salsa dancing if this was real? Like, it's always a girl that's gonna bring out the best in me. That's me
Mhm.
psychologically. It's always like usually a woman that's always making me want to be a better person. Oh, I
Mhm.
don't know. That's just I don't know why, but however I go with it. I love it. And with the short, I thought like, oh, let me create. Like I like the name Camila already as it is. I love the color red.
Mhm.
So and I was like, you know what? Her name's Camila. It was, and at the time I was just thinking like a character that would resemble my Camila would be what's that Cuban actress? Arma did something that
Oh,
did
Ana de Armas.
yes, I pictured her like I imagined her as my Camila. The James Bond version of her though. Like I remember
Okay.
seeing her in James Bond. I was like, wow, she's she
She
looks
is
like the
absolutely gorgeous. Yes.
yeah. I pictured her as my Camila, and I was like, all right, let me go off that fantasy. I don't know, that was totally fictional. Everybody else, there was inspiration for. The
Mm.
older brother represents me, how I see myself on the outside, and the character I'm playing is my younger brother, who I play as my younger brother.
Very
So
cool.
there's meaning behind the characters. Like the characters themselves they're like homage to actual mentors and people, allies in my life that have supported my journey. But Camila was totally fictional, and yeah, totally fictional at the
At the time. And how does your brother feel about this film that he is secretly in?
I think he loves it. I've seen it like twice. He's in the film too. Like, and towards the end, I put him in the
Oh,
film at the end. At the end, I put like all the people you see in the film are friends of mine. Are like
very
there's very
cool.
very rare like very there's I don't think there's any strangers besides at the time I didn't know too many dancers yet.
Mm.
So my co-star in the film, Serena here, she she brought her dancers, which are now my friends too there.
Very nice.
But the people in the bar, my brother and my mother are in the film as well.
Oh,
And so
no way.
I wanted to create in my head I was thinking, what? This is a meaningful film to me,
Mm.
and how do I make my friends feel like they're part of my film too by literally putting them in the film, and they loved it. I thought it was, especially me, I'm a bartender too, so I put real people from the bar that I know into the film, like to add to it.
Oh
So
my gosh,
those are
that
real,
is so cool. What a lovely
yeah.
vibe on set. Everyone's chilling, everyone knows each other. Like that sounds so great. So, so great. Awesome. With that, we are now going to switch over and now we're going to chat about Tigre. And everyone, remember at the very end, we are taking audience questions. So let's ruminate, think about it a bit. And when it's time, I'll let you know when to submit those questions. So, first one is a simple one. Mauricio, what inspired you to make Tigre?
Yeah, well, that was my second short, because I'm already working on a third short.
Nice.
The first one was about like an ethnographic tradition from Mexico.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty interested in anything that has to do with the ancient part of the country, like how we need to bring forth those traditions, and kind of like make people know about them in a more contemporary way. So that was kind of like the inspiration for the second short, which is also coming from a tradition called the dance of the knives, la danza de los cuchillos, which is like it's pretty old. It's from colonial times. So that got me interested, like I said, I've been really interested in like in archaeology, the traditions, the myths from my country, from all these really rich cultures. So I was also inspired by the costumes, the story in general, which is a story of revenge from a group of peons that they wanna like take over the foreman who like who enslaves them, who like um is really bossy, like he treats them really bad. So that was kind of my inspiration to bring forth like the present moment that we're living in, like in how that theme of revenge, how we can translate, or how we can like bring it to the present time, like how probably politicians are not doing what they're supposed to do with the country, so that is kind of my inspiration to just kind of like bring that past tradition and put it in a present context, like I think there has to be a connection for like with what we're living right now, so that was kind of my inspiration. There's a lot of inspirations, but that's probably the main one, or those are the main ones.
Very cool. So then is this about, or I guess roughly based on a specific group of people?
Yeah, this tradition is from central Mexico state of Tlaxcala, close to Mexico City. Yeah, that's the only part in the country where they had that tradition. They dance, they wear these really colorful, extravagant costumes. And I kind of toned it down. The original costume is a lot more flamboyant, a lot more things. There's a hat, so there's a lot more things to it. So I just kind of toned. I adapted the story, and I adapted the whole tradition a little bit to make it more cinema, like a more for filmmaking purpose.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool. And so why did you choose this like faux documentary style for the film?
Yeah, well, like I said, I kind of wanted to keep the main essence of the tradition. So it is, I call it docufiction, like it is coming from something that is real, it's a tradition that goes on. But I also adapted, and I try to like, give that part of my own take. And that's what I did with the first one. It was also kind of like a documentary / fiction, to keep the tradition more or less as it is, but give it that contemporary twist to it.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So this is my personal like burning question from this, and the whole time I really thought about it. But what is the significance for you of including The Tiger by William Blake at the beginning of the film?
Yeah, I was the version that you saw. It's a second version. I did a first version of Tiger, which it didn't work. So I just kind of started brainstorming and looking for references about how tigers have been treated in different cultures. So I kind of bumped into this poem by William Blake called Tiger. And I think I saw a lot of resemblance to what I was trying to depict with the new version. you know, like just talking about the wickedness of a tiger, you know, how evil it is, you know, how it was possible to conceive such a creature. So I saw that on the story that I did on the second version, which portrays the main character, you know, the foreman, as an evil guy who is subduing his peons. But also I saw that the leader of the pack, or the leader of the peons, who wanted to take over his position as a leader, or just kind of like get the foreman out of that position of privilege. I saw that foreman, I mean that peon, had also a really wicked way to kind of like take revenge, because at the end they were gonna hang the foreman. So I saw on both of them, I saw this really evil side to it. That's why it's called Tiger, as mentioning the foreman. And the other tiger who wants to take over is as evil. You know, he's just doing the same thing because he's gonna kill him. He's just gonna be doing something really bad to him. Yeah. So that's where it's coming from. That reference to William Blake's Tiger.
Very cool. And so the visual language of the film is super impressive. There are plenty of comments about it. What informed your choices when formulating the visuals with your DP?
Yeah. Well, I'm a visual artist myself. I did not go to college to do filmmaking, so my background is on visual arts. So I have this really, really strong sense of visuals as being the means to say something. You know, like there's not a lot of dialogues, but I think there's a lot of words that are said with the visuals. So like I said, that to me is that the visuals have to play a really important part in it. You know, like I believe in the capacity that images have to say something. So like a more specific reference probably would be like the tableaus from the Baroque period. You know, the paintings from Caravaggio, probably Goya, you know, where they had really dark surroundings in their scenes, but there was a light coming in from somewhere to make the scene more dramatic and more tragic, for example. So that's a more specific reference that I have for the visuals, you know, like this chiaroscuro or claroscuro surrounding, you know, like a dark light surrounding to make it more of an impact with the visuals. I mean, the visuals are strong as they are, but like with this dark surroundings, with fire and with some spotlights coming in from somewhere, it does make it more dramatic.
That is very interesting. And as you explain it, and then I see the film back again in my head, it makes a lot of sense. That is very cool. So then a question for the both of you together. Both of your films have been receiving great press. How has the film festival circuit been for each of you?
Do you want to get started, Edwin, or?
Oh, I was gonna let you start. I was unmuting my mic. The film festival went great. Like it's beautiful to see what people are reacting to, just hearing firsthand, like what strangers are telling me, what they love and what they react to, and seeing what, you know, especially like if you write jokes within the film and you're like, oh, you're expecting laughs, but then you don't get laughs, but then you get laughs on moments that are like, oh, I wasn't expecting laughs there, but I could see why it's funny, you know, like but firsthand I got to connect with a lot of people and just network, and so it's been amazing. And the recent press I got from the San Diego Latino Film Festival has been amazing because of my San Diego homecoming screening, and it's been great. It's pretty much wrapping up the film festivals. I think there's one more, which is the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival, and that's pretty much it. And after, I'm just focusing on the feature. I've been writing the feature for the past 4 months, so just writing, developing, rewriting, just trying to get it perfect. And but yeah, film festivals have been great so far. Best place to really connect with audiences and see firsthand what they enjoy, what they laugh at, what they what they aren't reacting to. But it's been a great experience. How about you, Mauricio?
To me, well, I kind of struggled like at first, since like the first version that I had of it did not do good. So I did the whole thing again. So like with this second version, it started going better. I had the world premiere in Karlovy in the Czech Republic last July. So that one went really well. It's an amazing festival. Then from there, it was in a couple of festivals in Mexico, Guanajuato. Then in the United States, I was able to screen it at the New York Latino Film Festival.
That's where I saw your film.
Yeah. And then I just came back from Chicago last week. It was at the Chicago Latino Film Festival as well. United States, it's been in Houston in a festival. But South America, Brazil in particular, always they welcome my films really good. Like it's been at the Rio de Janeiro Short Film Festival, the Sao Paulo Short International Film Festival. So yeah, Brazil is always a country that does take my work really, really good. So pretty much around, I think it's been like 15 to 20 festivals by now. So pretty good, like I like Edwin says, I do like going to the festivals that I think they're gonna be relevant for me to go and just kind of like have that connection with other filmmakers and people for the Q&As. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. I hope that the next film goes as well or better.
Well, I got a question for you really quick regarding the film festivals. Did you, from this learning from submitting to film festivals, have you figured out like what film festivals are best for your audience or for your films? Because that's what I learned. I mean,
that's a good question that I'm always asking myself. I think they have to be festivals that kind of like have a have a like an independent kind of side to it, like auteur filmmaking, where they show probably more provocative kind of filmmakings with visual languages or film languages that do not stick to a mainstream, because obviously my work is not mainstream. It might be hard to get at first, they're hard to digest. So I think it's probably for people who are looking for something a little bit different, a little bit out of the range from what they've seen in mainstream festivals. So yeah, it's a hard question. That's place for your films. I struggle with that a lot. So I for example, these festivals in Brazil, they do take short films from everywhere in the world with this kind of auteur side to it. You're like an independent. So yeah, I'm learning about the festival route. Like the festival circuits. So yeah, it's hard, but yeah, I think I gear towards more the independent kind of festivals for the work that I do.
Very cool. And Edwin, how about you?
I definitely, with experience submitting, I had a documentary play last year, and seeing firsthand what my other producer was submitting to film festivals, I saw kind of like firsthand what film festivals accepted, like what film festivals were accepting our documentary, and then knowing there was a book I read on producer to producer that had a film festival strategy. So I focused on the niche of my film, right? Like Latino film festivals, dance film festivals. I try to look for music film festivals, romance. Like I had a strategy in place, and I avoided the big, the film festivals like Sundance and all, like because I didn't think it was like ready for that yet. But yeah, I tried that strategy, and for the most part, it worked out pretty well, like especially with Latino film festivals. But even then, I didn't get into all the Latino film festivals. Like I got more into the the East Coast ones versus like the West Coast ones. So, you know, there's a lot that I was kind of like seeing, like, oh, okay, like I didn't get to the Los Angeles one, but I got into the New York one, or I got into the ones in Puerto Rico, you know, versus like the ones on you know, Seattle. Oh, like the ones in Seattle, I got into the San Francisco. You know, there's a lot that I was kind of like wondering, like, huh, interesting. Like I didn't get into these film festivals, Latino film festivals, but I got into these ones, and so it was interesting to see, you know. But then again, it's all about whether my film could fit in their program, because you know their programs are always like set up. I understand that too. So there's a lot that this is all I'm learning as well. But yeah, so yeah, I did learn a lot about being much more selective on film festivals, and kind of like analyzing, like, oh, okay, why didn't I get into this film festival where I expected to get into, but I didn't, you know, especially if they're independent. You know, so yeah, it was just a question I asked because I was wondering if you had specific film festivals that you knew your film would go to, that you want to submit to and it didn't get in. I guess that's what was telling my question, Mauricio. That's what I was wondering, like, oh, what film festivals were a great fit for your film, and ones that you expected to get into but didn't get into.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, for example, in Mexico, it didn't get into festivals that I was expecting, like Morelia. Morelia is like a really big festival for Mexican filmmaking. It didn't go in. You know, it had really good you know, turnout like in other festivals, but like in Mexico, it hasn't been received the way I expected it. You know, so like my first short film was in Slamdance. And this time I was really expecting that this one that I thought it was better, it was gonna get into Slamdance. It didn't, you know, like, so it's really hard. For example, Latino film festivals, yeah, I think they have received it really well, you know, because it has a really strong Hispanic, you know, or Latin American take, you know. So that's why I think it's been getting around Latino film festivals. So yeah, but it is hard.
Did you submit to the San Diego Latino Film Festival? Highly recommend.
I think I did. I don't remember. I think I did. I did submit to the LA Latino Film Festival. In Philadelphia, I was there with my first short. Yeah. So I do like you know, like consider Latino film festivals, which I think they're pretty good, you know, like to get yourself around in the United States. Yeah.
Very, very cool. No, this is definitely some really good, juicy information for any of the filmmakers or aspiring filmmakers in the audience. Very cool. So with that, well, actually first, towards the audience again, if you're enjoying today and you want to tip Mauricio and or Edwin, you can. On the Soley Space platform, it is the perfect way to support indie filmmakers, so everyone be sure to log on, send them some cash so they can make some more amazing films. And I would like to open up the floor to audience questions. Any questions you guys have, please do submit them now. And while you're all typing away, I will ask a few more questions to Mauricio and Edwin. So I would like to know, how has your experience been on the Soley Space platform so far?
I'm happy that I wasn't planning for the film to get picked up for like distribution or licensing deal. But even though I planned, I still wanted that option there. But I'm happy that I'm grateful that you guys found me. Yeah, but I'm just grateful for that alone. So it's and to answer your question, being on this platform amongst other quality shorts, it's an honor. I really think it's an honor. You know, like, I mean, this film could have been playing on YouTube, but it's like be placing a fish in the ocean, right? Versus like a specific platform where people could really watch quality shorts, and it has its own like niche as well. So I'm very happy and grateful. So if people want to watch quality films, come here.
You know where to go.
Yeah, the same as Edwin, you know, like I'm grateful that this was considered, you know, like I said, it is always hard to find funds or find platforms to show your work after the festival route, you know, like it is really, really hard and it's kind of like the only option is to just put them on, just kind of like make them public on your Vimeo profile or on YouTube. So it is, I mean, I need to take the time to watch the other films, you know, at the platform. I have really super limited time, but it is a really nice way to watch films from countries like you know, underserved countries with a lot of potential. Like, for example, I love Asian filmmakers. You know, I have this really specific taste for what people are doing in Asia. So this is an excellent way, you know, like to just have this kind of platforms. And Africa, you know, like Africa is a continent that you hardly see movies from or independent movies from. So it's an excellent idea, you know. I just need to take the time to watch the films.
What is your favorite Asian director? Is there, sorry, I had a follow-up question. Mauricio, who's your favorite Asian director?
Apichatpong Weerasethakul from Thailand. He does this amazing auteur cinema, independent. His last one was with Tilda Swinton, Memoria. I don't know. I think he was in the biggest festivals. So yeah, like this, they have this really spiritual way to approach filmmaking. You know, like they can be really contemplative films, but that's what I love from filmmaking. You know, just kind of getting in the filmmakers mind, and you know, just kind of lingering there and everything can they're the way they think, you know. So that's what filmmaking is, you know, just getting into the filmmaker's mind, and you know, just kind of dwelling there and flying around. So that's what I love to.
Wong Kar-wai.
Oh yeah. From I think Taiwan, I think.
Love his art. I love his work. That's why I was wondering, like, oh, me too. I'm inspired by international directors as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Alrighty. So while they're typing away, I would love to know what is next for each of you. We've touched on it a little bit, but what projects should we be looking forward to?
Fuego, the feature for me.
Well, for me, I'm in post-production for my third short film. I'm actually gonna go back to Monterrey the following week to do some retakes, to do some new takes. I think that what I'm doing it has a lot more potential. It is a short about these characters that are part of like the lowest rank within the cartel structure, the drug cartels. So I don't want to do the stereotype of kids, you know, like with guns or just killing people. It's not my type. I'm just doing that theme, or that I'm portraying these characters, which are teenagers that work for the cartels. But I'm gonna do it like in a really poetic, metaphorical way. You know, I'm working on this beautiful mountain range in Monterrey, which is kind of like 4 hours from here. I'm working with hawks, you know, the birds. You know, I'm actually working with them. So it's a challenge, and the post production seems to be heading in the right way, and I'm excited with it.
Wow, that is amazing. We're super excited for both of these projects. So let's dive into our audience questions. Our first one is for Edwin. Oh gosh, the first one's for Edwin. Will any of your ex-girlfriends look at this film and say, Camilla's me?
No. Actually, you know what? There is, okay. So there is one ex-girlfriend that comes to mind who did make me I only had one serious ex-girlfriend. So if she's watching out there, she definitely made me a better person. So I definitely channeled some of that energy into this character for sure.
Oh,
you know, because, and it's that she is definitely the only person that's definitely made me a better person. But however, it's not her, but there is that energy in there for sure.
Wow,
and
that's
she's watching.
great.
It's not you.
Looking directly at her. Not you. That's so
I
funny.
don't, you know, but I do, yeah, I never will forget the things that person did for me. And I am in the position I am today because that person did make me a better person. So that I always will remember. But there is no specific ex-girlfriend that this character is based on, but there is that energy that I channel from people that, from girls that I've wanted to be a better person for.
Very interesting. Our next audience question is for Mauricio. Who is your DP for Tigre Tigre? And also, who designed your costumes?
Okay, the DP, his name is Rigel Garcia. He lives in Mexico City. It was the first time working with them. He did give me a lot of new ideas. His sense of of improvising at some point, it was really good, you know, because we try to take advantage. For example, fire, there was never fire intended to be on the film, never at all. So all the fire in it, all the fuego in it, it was because of his suggestion. He was like, we saw the main character, the actor, he was practicing, and we saw him, and we were with the whip, you know, the whip, the scene where he handles the whip. We were impressed for what he was doing. The DP was like, why don't we set like fire to the plant on the bag, you know, to the dry corn plants. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So it came out like to be one of the strongest visual scenes in the short. So like really a lot of how do you say it? He did a lot of suggestions that made the film a lot stronger. And the second one, okay, the costumes. The costumes, okay, the costumes. They're that's the way this people, that's the way they dress when they dance their traditional their dances, when they do their dances. I just adapted it to, I just toned them down because they're a lot more extravagant. So yeah, those costumes they've been there like for centuries already.
Wow.
Well, the colorist too. The DP was the colorist as well. Who's the colorist?
The colorist, yeah, the colorist is an American who lives in Mexico City. His name is Ernie Schaefer. He does the work for Carlos Regadas, which is one of our lead auteur filmmakers. Yeah, like impressive. I was with them like the 4 days that we were doing the color, and he was just giving a lot of suggestions, like saying, why don't we do this, why don't we do that? So it was yeah, no. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience working with them. Really knowledgeable, and yeah, I'm really happy with the color grading. Yeah,
very nice,
gorgeous.
Yeah. All right, we have another question for Mauricio. Okay, this question is okay. How do I know? So the question is asking about some of your processes when you were storyboarding the film. But I think my question to preface this one will be, did you storyboard? Because I don't think I've ever met a short filmmaker that storyboards.
No, I did. I did actually.
Yes!
I think yes, I did. Of course, yeah. Since I'm a visual artist, it comes easier for me because I was able to do the drawings as detailed as possible because I submitted it to like a grants here in Mexico. So yeah, I did a storyboard. Some of the scenes, they do come actually the way you look at them at the shore, but some of them change completely.
Totally.
But yeah, I do storyboard. I think that helps me a lot with the visuals, with like showing out to the actors to tell them, hey, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be on the floor right here. And sometimes for me, since they're non-actors, it is really hard for me to get my message across because they're thinking, what is this guy want us to do? Like, what crazy stuff is gonna make us do? So that for me is a lot easier to show them the storyboard and see, okay, this is the intention for this scene. So yeah, I do storyboard, at least for that one. Yeah.
Very interesting. Edwin, do you storyboard?
Worse. I mean, for this short, yes, definitely short storyboard. And in my DP, even shout out to Margarita, he has a storyboard software. So not only do I have my storyboard, like I usually, if I don't have a visual for the shot I'm going for, I'll just sketch it. But I'll usually there's references, I'll screenshot from
Mhm.
like other music videos or previous films that I'm trying to go for. But if there's a shot I can't find, I'll sketch it out. And then my DP, he has his storyboard software. So we walk through the blocking, where the camera, where he's gonna allow the storyboard software he uses allows him to plan out the lenses and the lighting. So like it's I don't know what's it called, but shout out to Margarita, my Filipino brother in San Diego.
Wow. Well, I guess it's just like a call out to like all my friends, I guess, because they ain't storyboarding. I'll tell you that.
Storyboard is, yeah, I mean,
I know it's important. No, you guys are that's
helps.
very
It
good.
helps. At least the master shots, at least the like, because
Yeah.
when you're on set, there's gonna be new inspiration, new shots, new angles. That
Mhm.
happens to me all the time. But for the most part, like the master shots, I gotta have storyboarded. Like cool. It gives me inspiration for the setup, the locations, the elements I want to put in there.
Very, very cool. All right, so we have one more audience question for Edwin. How did it feel being an actor and a director? How did you differentiate giving direction to your actors as a fellow actor versus a director?
Okay, so this is something I got to learn. So, as an actor, especially, like I mean, I would say, like from experience, like being on set in theater, when you feel it, you could definitely feel it. Like it's a big difference when you're actually acting with your actors. And if
Mhm.
I don't feel, like it's now my job, right? Like I have to feed them that, I have to feed them those emotions or what I'm feeling. And if it doesn't feel natural, it's not,
Mm.
it's not, we'll work on it. But for the most part, like, on my end as a preparation as an actor, like I'm reacting, acting's reacting, right? So I'm reacting to what's being said in the moment, and I'll feel it. If it feels, there was rarely any moments where, I mean, we had rehearsals, we got to like work on it in rehearsals, but on set, there's gonna be different vibes for sure. And we'll adjust the blocking, but for the most part, um, being the actor working with the actors in the space, I get to now interact with them. And if I feel like we're having a natural conversation like we are right now, it's acting. That's
Mm.
perfect. If I feel like, oh, cool, we're not just saying lines, we're reacting to the ad libs, we're reacting to like the pauses, we're not waiting, like me, I don't wait for pauses or lines. I'm like, if I have to fill in that blanks, that space, like, like something very subtle. It doesn't have to be like overacting, but but being a director actor in that space, it does make it easier for me as an actor and to give any notes, if any. But the talent I casted, for the most part, like they were great. Like, like if I had to make adjustments, I allowed actors to be actors, to bring what they're familiar with, what I was trying to go for. I didn't have to tell anyone to like act a certain way. Like I've always appreciated the directors that uh, made me feel like I'm bringing me my creative choices as an actor to a director. That's what I encourage as well. And
Mhm.
it's just a matter of trying to convey the emotions and the story I'm trying to tell.
Mm.
But yes, that's from the acting and the directing standpoint. With experience in directing, it was it's just all in the preparations. I mean, even when the beautiful thing about writing like the project is now that I'm writing and acting the story. I'm writing, and not only writing, the directing and acting lens allows me to make the story stronger. Like, okay, like I input my directing vision into the writing, but then also input the acting. Like, would an actor act this way? Like, how would I, like, so there's a lot of lenses that I put on when I'm writing, creating the
Mhm.
story. And but first is the story. Then I look at it like from an acting standpoint. Like, would I act this way? Would anybody act this way? And then I act it out, and then I direct it. Like, okay, cool. Like, how would I bring that out as a director? So um, that's some advice for anybody. Just for any director, actors out there, just write your own stories. Write your own stories, and now you get to actually create the story that you aren't fully in control of. So
very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Very cool. Aspiring filmmakers in the audience, take notes, take notes. So if you want to keep up with everything going on in Edwin and Mauricio's filmmaking journey, I know exactly where you can go. You guessed it, the Soley Space streaming platform. It is a community streaming platform, so there's a lot of different social aspects to it. You can keep up with the filmmakers. You can DM the filmmakers, so you can ask more questions if you like. And also to learn more about Edwin and Mauricio's journeys individually, you can watch their Meet the Director videos also on the platform. So both vids and the films themselves are available. Please go ahead and watch them. And remember, as a special gift to our Short Film Saturday viewers, we are offering the first 2 months on the platform free. You can use code SFS60APR22 on soleilspace.com to use that free trial. And the code is only valid for the next 2 weeks, so hurry up and sign up. The code is in the chat below. With that, I know there's a lot more questions, but with that, we have to be respectful of time, and we do have to end things here. Next time will be May 6th. We'll be joined with Third Horizon Film Festival for our next very special episode of Short Film Saturdays. I want to give a big thank you to Edwin and Mauricio for taking the time to chat with us today. And with that, we will see you all next time. Bye.